Hi guys, welcome back to Robo Racing, the YouTube channel. My name is Bas and I drive in the Rotax Max DD2 class in the Dutch Championship. This video is about the first race of the season, the Dutch Rotax Max Championship in the DD2 class. It was taking place at Circuitpark Bergen, the biggest circuit in the Netherlands and the most fun to drive. And my first race weekend was one to forget. It was really a very bad weekend from start to finish. Reason for that is I was getting sick Friday before the race. I was really struggling with my health, couldn't breathe properly, had no stamina whatsoever. Normally when I go karting for a day, I'm just fit, and after the day I can go on for another 2, 3, 4 days maybe. But now I just absolutely finished at the end of each session. So that was not helping either. The second reason why this weekend was not so good is my chassis. So last year I switched from a Tony cut to a barrel arch chassis, and it was getting off to a good start, but after a few races and now the training in the winter, my chassis is starting to get worse. It is time for a new one. Reason is that at the front of the chassis the tubes are getting flat, so you don't have the flex that you want to have in a chassis and the stiffness that you want to have. So therefore you're losing big amounts of time in the very slow corners. So I was on the back foot the whole weekend. Third reason is my engine was okay, but was not the strongest of the field. So the whole package, driver, chassis and the engine was not top of the bill. So starting off the weekend, what is the track look like? Circuitpark Bergen is the biggest kart circuit in the Netherlands, and is a circuit where most of the races are held for the Dutch Rotax Max series. Well, it has a good mixture of very fast corners, some slow ones where you can overtake, and it's generally a very flowing track. It's not the most widest track, so overtaking is not always possible, just on a few spots, and the racing is mostly very close. So let's go for a lap on board at Circuitpark Bergen. So at the qualifying I was starting to get very ill. I was not feeling great at all, but decided to continue racing anyway, just to do damage limitation, see how far I can finish. Okay, the session itself was not too great. I set the lap time very late in the session, so as you can see at the results, the quickest time is set by Maxime Dirks, quick Belgian guy, in the 43.425 seconds. That is very, very fast. Second guy, Luc Schepers, also in the 43.5. I set a lap time of 44.0, 6/10 off, that's a lot. But mostly I struggle a little bit with qualifying, because you really have to pick your lap time at the beginning of the session. But for the races, 6 is not a very bad position. So race 1 I was ready to get to the front. Well, after qualifying I was feeling very bad. I just took a nap and a little rest, but then we made a catastrophic mistake, which is coming too late at Park Ferme. Normally you get a punishment for that. You have to start from Park Ferme at the pits. When the field, the punishment you get normally for that is that you have to start from the back at Park Ferme and start when the rest of the field drives up at the start-finish line. So I was very angry, and the marshal said to me, yeah, but not only you have to start from the back, but also you are a lap behind the others. And I said, what, a lap behind? That's nonsense. But at the end of the day he was actually right, and therefore it has no sense to make up ground in the first race. But anyway, I didn't believe the marshal who said this to me, And I said that's complete nonsense, because in motorsport and in Formula 1 they start from the pits, but they don't have 1 lap penalty. But anyway, I started from the pits and I was full of adrenaline, and I just finished the race and drive to the front. Actually, my race was not very bad. I was even catching the group who was fighting from P3, so my pace was very good in this race, but unfortunately I get a penalty from 1 lap. So actually I finished 7th in this race, but after the penalty I finished 13th. So what do you think of this penalty, and have you experienced some strange rule which you think is complete nonsense? If you have, please leave it here in the comments. So that was one race done. Now up to the second race. I had to start from P13 in the second race, but one thing which was actually very promising was our race pace. Traditionally I am very strong in the races. I have mostly very good pace compared to the others, so there was hope to go for even a top 5 finish. So let's have a look at the second race of the day, see if I can finish in the top 5. So I was starting P13 at the inside. Initial start was good, but here I'm a little bit stuck behind 510 and I lost 2 places. Here in the hairpin I gained 1, but just not enough power to get out of the corner, and I had to circle behind him, but the next corner I'm at the right side and I overtake the guy. So I was feeling the car was feeling great. The car was feeling great at this stage, so it gave me a lot of hope to go to the front. So here I'm behind the 404, with a little bit of a bad exit. He's really struggling, and on the straight I just pass him. So this guy in front of me, the 588, is actually a DD2 master, but at the first race he did not finish, so that meant that his tires were very good for the second race. So my plan was, if he was in front of me at the beginning of the race, to just follow him, and if he had a good pace we go to the field together, because his tires were very good, and clearly he has also very good pace. Prepare my tires a little bit, and when the timing is right I pass him and go for higher positions. So here he makes a great lunge, but I was just too far back to go with him. Also a tricky corner to overtake. If you are too far back, mostly it ends in tears. So now behind the 511, you can see that he is struggling at this part of the track, and at turn 4 I overtake him. This is actually the best overtaking place at the track. So the start of the race was actually very good. Stay out of trouble and gain a few places. The 588 in front of me is a little bit faster at this stage, and he has a little bit of a gap. You can see he clearly lives at the last corner before the start finish straight, and then again he struggles at the fast sweeping bends, and I made a lunge at turn 4 and pass him. So we are now catching the 555 Christopher Adams, veteran in the DD2. He's starting to struggle at this track, maybe not his favorite track, and you can see in the faster corners he's holding us up. But you have to be patient, you can't just overtake anywhere. You can see on the straight I'm just losing time to the other guys. It's in the corners that I make up. And here at the straight, they're just pulling away from me. Here he's really struggling, the 555. There's not a place where you can overtake, so you just have to be patient. So if you want to do it perfect, you have to set up the overtake. At this track that means have a very good run at the second to last corner. The last corner go flat out and stay in the slipstream. Mostly it's not possible to overtake on the straight because it's just too short. So let's see what happens this time around. Can we overtake him in one go? Here is it, and yes, we have him. So now I'm in the rhythm, and the 588, which had great pace in the beginning, is the next target. A little bit faster on the straight, but in the corners he's a little bit struggling more than me. But unfortunately, during this race I started to notice that my exhaust was not properly attached, or there was something wrong with my exhaust. In some corners you can hear the revs go up, which I'm starting to worry about when the exhaust is getting loose. So can we catch the 588? Maybe at the hairpin after the fast 3 corners, but then this happened. Yep, that's an exhaust failure. That means it was the end of the race for me. My exhaust was broken. This was a very strange failure because the exhaust we had just bought in Belgium, so it was a couple of weeks old, and I was just the third weekend I drove with it. We barely have any failures with exhaust, with pipes that come loose or the springs that come loose. But in this case, the spring which is attached at the exhaust actually broke, and it ripped part of the exhaust open. So it was not attached to my engine. And that not only means that you are out of the race because of the noise, but also that you have no power whatsoever. So after this I was completely gutted and very disappointed with my weekend. The first race we threw away ourselves, and the second race was just, yeah, it's just bad luck, I guess. So that means in the standings I am currently last in the DD2 class. Now the leader in the championship, Maxime Dirks, he did a maximum score of 2 race wins, 110 points, and we just have 78 points. That's a gap of 32 points, and the question is, can we overcome that gap? Next race is in Spa-Francorchamps, one of my favorite tracks. Last year it was a reasonably good weekend. I had a very good race in the wet. In the dry also I had one good race and a couple of nice moments there. So can we bounce back from this horrible weekend? Stay tuned for the next video and see you later. Bye bye.